All right, let's just start with a number. No context, nothing. Just 806. What does that even mean, right?
And then, boom, the context hits you like a ton of bricks. That's not just a number. That's 806 people, 806 lives lost to accidental overdoses in San Francisco in just 1 year. It's a crisis on a scale that's honestly hard to wrap your head around.
But here's the thing. Out of all that darkness, something new is starting to grow. A movement, built on a pretty radical idea when you think about it. The idea that you can take the absolute worst pain imaginable and turn it into your greatest purpose. This is the story of Supriety.
So, to really get what this is all about, we have to go back to the beginning. We need to understand the person who lit the match and the one single moment that changed, well, everything.
And look, this isn't just about big, scary numbers. The fentanyl crisis, especially in a place like San Francisco, is a whole different beast. This drug, it's just so potent, so unpredictable, that the old ways of doing things, the standard recovery models, they're just not cutting it. They're failing. And that leaves thousands of people completely stranded, with no real way out.
Right at the heart of all this is one person's story. His name is Joey Noble, and he's the founder of Supriety. And let me tell you, his journey was anything but a straight line. It started with a really traumatic event, which then spiraled into addiction. But then, one night, a completely random chance encounter happens that just flips the script and sends him down a totally different path.
Seriously, it sounds like it's straight out of a movie script. It's Halloween night. A group of friends decides to move from one part of town to another, just on a whim, a gut feeling. And then, someone's scooter falls over. A total stranger stops to help. And that one tiny, random act of kindness, that's the spark. That's what sets everything in motion.
But it gets crazier. It wasn't just a moment of kindness. The person who stopped to help this woman, Sienna, well, it turns out he had the same last name as her friend Joey Noble. That's the guy we were just talking about. And that coincidence just felt, I don't know, cosmic, too significant to ignore. And it's that feeling that sparked the connections that would eventually pull Joey out of his own addiction and lay the groundwork for this entire thing.
Okay, so you've got this incredible chance encounter story. But how do you go from that one little spark of human connection, to building an actual system that can help thousands of people? Well, that's where the Supriety Blueprint comes in. It's a totally new model for recovery, built from scratch.
And this isn't some rigid, one-size-fits-all program. Supriety is actually built around 3 core themes, 3 big ideas that all work together. The goal is to create this ecosystem for recovery that's flexible and can actually sustain itself.
So what are these big ideas? Let's break it down. First, immediate incentives and support. We're talking tangible rewards right away. Second, it's about connection and a sense of collective purpose. And third, it's using technology to give you 24/7 access to help whenever you need it. You put those 3 together, yeah, that's a really powerful combo.
All right, let's talk about that first killer, because it's built on a motto that's going to turn some heads. Get paid to quit fentanyl. And I know what you might be thinking, but this is absolutely not a gimmick. It's based on a scientifically proven method called contingency management. The idea is simple. You reward positive behavior right away with real incentives. It's all about creating a powerful counter-motivation to fight the pull of the drug.
And we're talking about real rewards here. Members can actually earn up to $599 over a 6-month period, just for making verified progress. But it's not really just about the cash. It's about a fundamental shift in thinking. It's acknowledging that recovery is incredibly hard work, and that work, it deserves to be recognized and compensated.
But getting individual rewards is only half the battle, right? That's where the second pillar comes in. It completely shifts the focus from me to we. It's about taking your personal recovery journey and turning it into a collective mission. It's about connecting with other people and finding a shared purpose in making your community a better place.
And this is where I think it gets really beautiful. Your own personal progress, your streak, is directly linked to doing good in the real world. So you hit 10 clean days and bam, 10 trees get planted. You hit 30 days and 30 bags of trash are collected from the streets. Your personal healing literally becomes the community's healing. How cool is that?
Okay, so the third pillar is the tech that holds it all together. Think of it like the system's backbone. It uses gamification, things like points, streaks, earning badges, to keep you motivated and engaged. And on top of that, there's an AI-powered coach that gives you personalized support 24/7. It can even flag potential relapse risks and make sure that help is always just a tap away.
All right, so that's the blueprint, that's the theory. But what does this actually look like day to day for a member? How does all this stuff come together in the real world?
Well, it really starts with something called the Recovery Squad. And this is not just your average support group. Think of it as the North Star of the whole movement. It's a small, high-trust team of members who've made it through, who've found stability. And now they're the ones leading the charge. They're the living proof of what's possible.
And their role is absolutely crucial. They're the role models, they're the mentors, they're leading these community service projects we talked about. They're the literal living embodiment of that pain into purpose motto, because they're actively taking their own pasts and using them to build a better future for the people coming up behind them.
Okay, let's zoom out for a second, because this model isn't just about helping one person at a time. The impact, the bigger picture, it could have huge implications for the entire city.
This is where you get this really cool idea of a dual return on investment. Think about it. You're not just investing in one person's recovery, you're simultaneously investing in the health of the whole community. You're saving lives while you're improving neighborhoods. The two things happen at the exact same time.
And if you look at the economics of it, the numbers are just staggering. Research shows that for every single dollar you invest in this kind of program, you get somewhere between $4 and $7 back in societal savings. We're talking about reducing costs for healthcare, for the justice system. It's a massive return.
But honestly, the philosophy behind this hints at something even bigger. At its very core, this whole model is about one thing: alignment. It's about taking a person's most destructive impulses and realigning them toward a constructive, positive purpose. And that exact same challenge, the problem of alignment, is at the center of maybe the biggest technological question of our time: the future of AI.
When people talk about AI alignment, what do they mean? It's pretty simple, really. It's the challenge of making sure that these incredibly powerful AI systems we're building are actually pursuing goals that are good for humanity. How do we make sure this new intelligence shares our values? How do we steer it towards helping us, not hurting us?
And that brings us right back around to the big final question. What the Supriety model suggests is that it's actually possible to solve this alignment problem on a deeply human level, to take a destructive force like addiction and redirect it toward a positive purpose. So, if we can crack that code for ourselves, if we can align our own deepest pain with our highest purpose, just imagine what else we can solve.